College and university are useless institutions. They're overpriced, and you can learn most of the content online. Have you heard of like YouTube, Khan Academy? It's all there. That's why I avoided going to school for so long. But the truth is, the main benefit from going to school is something that colleges and universities are too proud to admit, because it has nothing to do with the coursework. Hi, if we haven't met yet, my name is Dylan David Gordon. You are watching Beyond Young, where I take you from school life to real life. And you're watching the final episode of a 4-part series where I've shown you each one of my gap years so you can extract the fun I had and combine it into one really great gap year of your own. Now today we're going to be going over my reasons for going back to school, because frankly I never thought I'd go back to university. And we'll also be touching on a hidden benefit of going to university that's outside of just like the coursework, outside of just going to class. So you're really going to enjoy this. I'm excited to share it with you, and let's talk gap year. For some context, by the end of my 3rd gap year, my best friend in the world was a 63-year-old man. Now, I love the guy to death. I'm shooting this video in his amazing house right now. But when you're 20 years old and your best friend is someone that old and your circle of friends hasn't grown since high school, it's really disheartening. And I felt like I struggled to connect with other people my age because my life was just so different. So I decided to go back to school for 2 reasons. A, probably the biggest one, just to be around people my own age and to, I don't know, feel like a young person instead of an old, well, general laborer. And the second reason, and this one's big, was to be a marketer who does labor jobs and not a laborer who does marketing. For all my time before this, yes, I did sell mortgages for a bit. It was fun. But outside of that, I was just picking up marketing gigs on the side when my day job was digging post holes. And I wanted to switch that around, So it's like marketing during the day, marketing student, that's the path I'm going towards, and doing these labor gigs just to pay the bills in the meantime. That's why I chose to step into university. Now I want to talk to you about transitioning from like a gap year mode to back into school mode, because I know it was causing me a lot of anxiety, like thinking about it. So maybe you're in a similar kind of situation. Let's start with the age gap. You are going to be 1 year older than everybody else in the program. And that's only a problem if you make it a problem. Let me explain. Now, you might think that because you're a year older, got another notch of life under your belt, that you're better than most of your peers. That's a problem because it puts like a space between you and them, and it makes it difficult to be friends. A worse idea, in my opinion, is thinking that since you're in the same program as all these people who are a year younger, that you're worse off than everybody because you're a year behind. You're just catching up. The appropriate way to go about thinking about this age gap is as if it doesn't exist. No one actually cares about how old you are. It's only a problem if you make it a problem. If your defining feature is that you're a year older and you make a big deal out of it, guess what? Other people are going to make a big deal out of it. And so like when you're going back to school, just be chill. Like it's not that big of a deal. It can feel like a big deal when you're thinking about like transitioning back to school, but in reality, no one really minds as long as you're nice. That said, it is nice meeting people your own age, because the reality is there is going to be a maturity gap. So meeting a whole bunch of second years or sophomores, whatever they call it in the US, meeting some of those people at clubs and events, you'll vibe with them pretty quick. So just keep that in mind. Moving on to meeting people once you're in school, the very first thing, like numero uno, once like you're accepted into university, find out what clubs to join. Like seriously, join clubs, as many clubs as you can fucking take, because, well, it's a big regret that people have after they graduate is not doing enough clubs, because it's such an easy way to meet new people. You can be around a whole bunch of people who have like a similar interest as you. Then of course, just invite them, like you meet the people there and then invite them to parties and stuff that you're hosting outside of the club. So that way you can kind of like integrate them into your own little friend group. You have to pull them out of it. Yeah, just do that and you'll be good to go. Join clubs immediately. Please. Please join clubs. Now, yeah, this last piece is something that, again, I was nervous about going back to university, and that is like actually doing schoolwork again. What's that like? What's it like going from doing whatever you want to returning to daily homework and daily readings? It's actually pretty easy. And it's pretty easy because guess what? You, me, we kind of went through the whole elementary school process. Like that pattern is pretty ingrained in our heads. So it's actually pretty easy to slip back into that groove that's deep in our minds. So yeah, you might not like the transition, but know that whatever habits that you have now for your studying, you're gonna have them again once you're in university. So don't fret about the transition, you're gonna do great. So the main benefit of university, outside of the coursework, because let's be honest, you're gonna spend most of your time on YouTube just YouTubing how to do certain things because you can get all this information online totally for free. The main benefit is learning it with other people. Before university, I was studying marketing. I was reading the books. I was doing this like side projects. Like I was engaging with the subject matter, but it was terribly lonely. And it was also like very introspective. Like it was very in like my own head, like the learning process. But when you're in a space with a whole bunch of people who are all moving in a similar direction, they all have like similar interests, not identical by any means, but you're all going in the same direction and you can bounce ideas off of each other. It makes learning way more fun. So yeah, you can get the coursework online for free, but it's a very lonely way of going about it. Yes, it's cheap and you can do it on your own and it's a great way of like sticking it to the man and whatever. But if you want to learn with other people are kind of moving in the same direction as you, school's the way to go. What's really strange is that most people who take a gap year or consider taking a gap year have one thing in common. And I talk about that in this video right here if you'd like to check that out. Also, if you look in the description, you're gonna find a book. It's called 3 Steps for an Awesome Gap Year. I think it's gonna be a huge help to you if you're looking into planning a gap year right now. So if you're planning your gap year, you're gonna wanna grab that. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.